Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shot of the Internet Personality Best Hair, and welcome to Live and Wired episode 131 more. Joining me, as always, is me, myself, and I. And also, under the veil in the comments, welcome. Thank you for joining us this time. Yeah, feeling a little better right now. Hello, John Washburn, Timothy Armstrong. Hello. I've been on my little diet for a while, so I'm not feeling as wiped out. Also, it helps that acknowledging that I was like 10 pounds over where I wanted to be, I am not cutting like all the calories out of my diet that I can. I'm trying to keep to my minimum so that I, still have energy and I can exercise and lose weight that way. It's the thing. Hello, Patrick Hunter, Austin, nice. But doing well enough. The Six Prophet. I've been on a bit of a diet because I get a little belly here, and I'm working on getting rid of the little belly. And every time I tell anyone about that, they're like, "Decca, you ain't got no belly. We all in this country are a bunch of big fat asses, and you have no reason to be even remotely concerned about any amount of weight on you, you skin and bones son of a bitch." And on the one hand, I can understand that scenario. On the other, I like the beer, and then I'm like, and then things start folding over themselves, and I'm like, yeah, no. So I've been taking care of that as best I can. I've lost 2 pounds since the last episode, so that's like a pound a week. So yay. Shin Kamen Rider. I still have to watch Shin Kamen Rider. What was? Oh man, now I'm trying to remember what that one anime was where it was like literally Decker. Like that's now, or not necessarily anime, but tokusatsu. I think. Dang it. I got Greek in me too. That's. Now let me think. So my great grandmother had married a Greek man and had my grandmother, who then married my grandfather, who was Polish. And then they had my mother, who married my father, who was English, French, and my great grandmother was Czechoslovakian. And then my father's English, French, and Abenaki. So there's a lot in there, but point is, one of them's Greek. One of them's Greek. And it's a little funny when I actually get some sun in the summer months, like comparing tans. So we got the very white side of Charlie's family, and we also got the Hispanic part kind of there as well. And she's showing up, and she's like darker than everyone, and I'm there with the Greek in me, and she compare my arm to her arm, like I'm darker than you, But yeah. Only in the summer when you start getting all that lovely sun to start get that olive skin really come out. But it is what it is. Ultraman Decker. That's right. That was it. Yeah. I've pretty much taken to my fiance's family as my family, considering my family is either extremely far away, dead, or both. So this is where my family is. So yay. But Shin Clifford, I would watch that. That's a lot like the whole Barbenheimer thing going on. Is an alien TV series in the future? I generally don't mess with TV series, but I would probably mess with an alien TV series. I thought you said where. Like I didn't read that right. I thought it was like where your family, and I was saying, I don't know, mostly 6 feet under, but part Greek. English, French, Czechoslovakian, Polish, Greek, and Abenaki native. It's just the blood comes from a lot of places. It's kind of it's what happens with the modern world and the fact that the world is getting so much smaller. Travel becomes so much more available to literally everybody. So I wouldn't say hyped, but I'm definitely going to be checking that out and definitely going to be sharing my thoughts. And yes, TV series come for okay, nice. Might actually have to watch that. Although I generally don't like TV series, and I also generally have not liked the latest movies in the Alien franchise. So maybe cautiously optimistic. I got to see something about how it's being put together. But before we started, there was someone who was asking, like, want to guess which movie over the weekend I watched. Was it Oppenheimer or was it Barbie? And to which I have to say neither. And I would say that's because my car's oil pan is cracked and I'm leaking oil and I really can't go anywhere until that's fixed, which is scheduled to happen this Wednesday. But honestly, you know that I don't go places anyway, so it's like that's a great excuse for now. But it's just bullshit. I just don't go places. I need to get into the habit of doing that again. Being like, hey, here's a newer movie coming out to theaters. I review movies for a living. It would behoove me to actually go out and watch a new movie and then tell people what I think about it. Maybe I could try this once in a while. My quote was for the oil pan replacement and the 3 hours of work to do it, $490 some odd dollars. But the part that I looked up for that specific car is like $70. So, it's behooved. And not just a good guess. Like most of the time, most people probably don't run into a problem of the oil pan itself being just scratched and cracked open and such. But our roads around here are pretty bad, which is a reason why I've been like, you know what, maybe a coupe, much as I like driving it, really not the best idea for around here out in the sticks. Maybe there's a reason that everyone drives a pickup truck. And it's not just because it's like my dick is big. It's more along the fact that my dick is not being smashed up by these fucking roads. Like something like that. Something like that. Ooh, that is astonishingly white. Ooh. I that is impressively white. I feel like your family would tell me to get the hell off the just get out of here. Don't trust me around. Like, you keep an eye on that one. Ooh, man, that's a lot of ouch right there. Yeah, it's like when I went to watch Terrifier 2, that's when there was the jerry can that jumped out in the like a squirrel into the middle of the highway. I sound like a crazy person every time I talk about this, but seriously, it's not like I wasn't on the highway with other people. There was someone in front of me, so they couldn't have hit this jerry can. It came from the side in front of my car, and I'm going 80, so no, I ain't gonna have enough time to slow down, especially since I didn't have enough time to check if there was someone behind me. The thought that went through my head was, I hope my car's high enough to get over this. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Bam! So I heard the scratching and the crap, so I hit my emergency lights, pulled over to the side, pulled that out, and then kept driving, and then the temperature warning came up because, hey, it cracked my radiator. And fuck. And then I had to get that tow several cities down because, like I said, I had to watch Terrifier 2, which was several cities away to get the closest theater that was actually showing it. And so I had to get a tow a long ways, so which cost several $100s, and then I had to get the radiator replaced and fixed and stuff, which costed like $600, and it's like, ugh. So that was $1,000. I keep telling that story, but I'm still pissed off about it. But I just blast music when I'm going 5 miles an hour. It's what I do. Yeah, it's what happens. It's what happens. Oof. But yeah, the first bit of news I had to talk about was Barbenheimer. The specific thing, despite the fact that, like I said, I did not go out to the theater to watch either movie because that's not what I do. Okay, well, we got a £5 donation from New York Prime. Should watch Batman Doom. It's an animated Batman Lovecraft film based on the comic done by the creator of Hellboy. Interesting. See, I'm hearing Batman Doom. I was thinking like Batman and like Doom, like Doom Guy. And Doom Guy has some interesting comics, to say the least. Oh. Yeah, I remember in like extremely heavy fog and rain I was going like 45, and I'm like, I can't go any faster than this. This is already pretty dangerous. I'm not so certain about what's in front of me. And then what's in front of me was all the traffic slowing down to an absolute crawl. So I hit the brakes and just managed to not rear end the guy in front of me. And then the guy behind me hit their brakes and just managed to not rear end me. And I was like, okay, I'm good. We're all going slow. The doom that came to Gotham. No, I didn't get to watch Oppenheimer or Barbie. Though I have to say, like, I was initially kind of excited for Barbie. The commercials looked really nice, but the things I'm hearing about it, not so positive anymore, which is a shame. It looked like it could have been a nice, generally fun movie. But it's also interesting because you're getting a lot of like different cross stuff with that, where it's like, I saw, of course, stuff on Twitter like Ben Shapiro says this movie is woke trash. I'm like, well, of course he did. It's Ben Shapiro. I get on my YouTube recommendations. It's like The Quartering says this movie is woke trash. I'm like, well, of course he did. He's The Quartering, and it's a day that ends in Y. Of course they're saying it's woke trash. But then I saw the Critical Drinker's video on it, and it's like, oh God, really? Really? Holy shit! This is pretty bad. But then there's like Sargon on Twitter saying like, well, it's not as bad as everyone's saying. I'm like, yes, it's extremely left leaning and stuff, but it's a modern Hollywood production. What did you expect? And it's like, well, based on the Critical Drinker's account of the basic plot, it's a bit more than most. And it's like, oh, well, it's not, I'm not the target audience. It's like, yeah, but I'd like to also not be just considered less than human and detested by the target audience. I just feel like that's not a great look for a movie. I bring Thick Black Daddy on this and I'm like, hey, what did you think of Birth of a Nation? It's like, oh, no. Well, I guess, well, you're not the target audience for that. It's just something like, just there are certain lines that just you feel like crossing it should be a little bit more of a what the hell are you doing? But yeah. I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I did try and look up a little bit of the plot synopsis, and I haven't heard too many people talking about Oppenheimer either, other than there's being a little bit of discourse online right now about talking about the potential moral righteousness of the atomic bombs dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it's, I believe that it's, because the story follows Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer himself is like, that was kind of fucked up. The question of just how fucked up that was been brought up. And effectively, as it was taught to me in school when I was younger, I don't know if it's still taught like this. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not anymore. Just the idea is, well, you see, it helped stop the war. It saved lives. But I've always kind of personally sat here with wondering, like, how much slower would it have stopped the war if it was a I don't know, military target, not annihilating 200,000 innocent civilians? Just a thought experiment. Like, would that have kept the war going on for another couple months if they nuked some bases instead? This is it's a whole lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda, who knows, and it's decades past at this point, almost a century by now. Jesus, I'm getting old. But the summer of Seagal was not easy to get through on this end either. Oh, but there were military targets. People were also warned to leave the area. Okay, people were warned to leave. Okay, there's that. There's that. Whenever I hear some people come up with the thing like, well, Japan wasn't totally innocent. They did some fucked up shit. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure the general asshole living in Hiroshima didn't do that fucked up shit. They were just trying to, I don't know, pay their fucking rent and have a fucking piece of sushi. Like, just living your life, and then, hey, it's as hot as the surface of the sun today. Like, Oh, God. Barbie versus Oppenheimer. Spoiler alert, Barbie melts. Oh, I didn't hear about that. There are government-controlled theaters sabotaging viewings of Sound of Freedom. That's the movie that's speaking out heavily against human trafficking, and for some reason, there's a lot of people saying that that's a very terrible thing to do. So, it's a thing that I've said plenty of times, and I'm absolutely fallen off, not completely ignoring that in the last few sentences that's been out of my mouth. But I really don't like getting political in talks of entertainment. But Jesus Christ, if entertainment could stop being political for a second, like it'd be great. It'd be wonderful. I'd like to talk about the Barbie movie if it was just talking about like Bobby and Ken being dolls. I don't know. Not oh god. Ah, yes, I heard about that too. I've seen the memes. But yeah, Oppenheimer is not being shown in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Just a thing. But yeah, I was also going to come up with a live and wired poll in terms of Oppenheimer, but I couldn't quite like in terms for the Barbenheimer, try and figure out what kind of poll there would be, and I was kicking around the idea like there would actually be a Barbenheimer crossover movie and what the plot could be, and I couldn't think of anything that was funny enough without being like super insensitive and just like, you've gone too far with this shit, Decker. The time to dial this back was 5 years ago, and you're really fucked up. Like, so yeah. One of the options was Atomic Hell defeats the patriarchy, but you know what? Cave Cast dropped $5. First films of horror franchises. Which one do you think could have been a standalone movie and stood the test of time? Now there's. I feel like Alien has been a big franchise, and it's like a lot of times it comes back to the first. A lot of people stand by the second, but the second is different enough that you feel like the first is still really special where it is. And I don't. That's a lot of really great ones could have just been one. But others like Friday the 13th, while the original movie is fine for what it is, it's the sequels that really made it into the Friday the 13th that we know, with Jason Voorhees going boom to boom. And would the original Friday the 13th really stand the test of time? A lot of people say it does. I'm not necessarily one of them. I feel like there's a few things in there that's Critical drinker has gone off the reserve a bit. Okay, well, there's only one thing to do now. Watch the movie and come to my own goddamn conclusion. I hate that. Oh well. Oh well. Well, like I said, seeing Ben Shapiro and the Quartering say it's woke trash, no surprise here. Anyway, it's time. It's time for the next little bit of news to speaketh. You guys heard of Diablo 4? Amazing game, loved by everyone. Recent patch came out. It's now rated 2.2. Everyone hates that. Everyone hates it a lot. And there's a reason. Diablo 4 was an example of a games as a service game that wasn't horrible. It was still, at its heart, the core game was fun. It meant to be fun. But it was a games as a service game. And games as a service games, the design philosophy is number one most important thing is to be profitable and addictive. Fun is not important in the games as a service circle. And, well, the recent patch rebalanced things. Main things it did: boosted the enemies significantly, nerfed all the characters significantly, arbitrarily made it so you had to be a certain level before you could do the higher tiers that gave you more experience, so that would take longer before you could do that. Arbitrarily made it so when you're trying to exit the dungeon at the end with the little teleporter, it just takes longer now. It just takes longer. It just, fuck you. Your time is not important. Say you want to save some time, give us your money. And, They nerfed everybody. They nerfed absolutely everyone. Like, everyone who's playing a certain class looked at their own class things and saw a bunch of nerfs and like, oh, they nerfed this, they nerfed that. But you look down at, they nerfed everybody. And they also fucked up some things and made it worse for play. And they didn't even include that stuff in the patch notes. And it's just generally like, you had a game, but you just had to be fucking Blizzard about this, didn't you? You just had to lean too hard into the games as a service. And now, oh yeah, there's that. There's that. It's kind of like inflation versus taxation. Inflation is a tax that you technically don't have to file. It's affecting you, but it's not higher tax rates. You're just, screwed in your buying power. The Sorcerer in Diablo 4 does more damage than the other classes combined. Well, how are they in terms of, like, squishiness? There's all that. What is nerf? To nerf is it's a classic term in I think it originated in MMORPGs, where rebalancing patches would occur more frequently, and a lot of times certain characters' abilities and skills and certain weapons would just become they were being used a lot because they were very powerful and they weren't supposed to be that powerful, so they'd cut it down severely, and people would say that they are now as effective as using a nerf weapon. Hence, they nerfed this, they nerfed that. So if the sorceress has been nerfed, that means that the sorceress's abilities have been dialed down to be a far weaker character. Or I guess that's a much simpler way of putting it. They say if you can't answer something quickly and simply, you don't understand it very well. So, I'm an idiot. Yeah, Diablo 3 was mostly remakes of Diablo 1, Butcher back, Leoric back. I like Diablo 2's... Diablo 2 had the Smith, which was effectively the Butcher in Diablo 2. It wasn't as cool as the Butcher. The Butcher in Diablo 1 was a lot more like a holy shit moment. Whereas the Smith in Diablo 2 was just like, hey, you're kind of like the Butcher. Stab! But, yeah. The Butcher just keeps coming back now in Diablo. See a Butcher in Diablo 3, there's a Butcher in Diablo 4. And it's like, thank you. Thank you. I like to call it the best. What's the Diablo games about? Generally, the primevals entering the human world and kind of spreading hell on Earth, and you pick up a sword and got to do something about it because you are player one. 20,000 endings. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that that's similar to the 200 endings of Fallout 3, where you have certain endings that can happen based on your experiences in certain locations, and at the end of the game, you get a little where are they now slide for each part. And the combination of different versions you can get totals approximately 20,000. But effectively, there's one ending, and it's going to be a little where are they now of all the choices you made. Which is going to be fun and fine, and it's going to make you feel like that's great. I did that. I remember that. This is a fun time I had playing all of this. Memories. But I have not watched the Never Hike Alone shorts. I believe you've asked me to do so, and I have failed to do so. 7 versus 8. I didn't care much for 7 when it first came out because it was so drastically not Resident Evil, and it didn't surprise me at all to find out that it started its life not as Resident Evil. And Capcom was like, well, we kind of screwed up with Resident Evil 6. Let's just have this new horror game be considered a Resident Evil game and throw some Resident Evil characters in at some point. Boom, there it is. It's Resident Evil 7. 8, on the other hand, rolled more of the Resident Evil stuff back into the Resident Evil 7 formula and feels more like a Resident Evil as a result. But also that means it feels less like horror and more like action because, well, we know what happened with the Resident Evil franchise. Wait, there's timelier cop and harder targets? Did I miss that? I have a bass. I'm not very good at it, but I do what I can. And I have a guitar, and I enjoy noodling on it, but I'm not exactly very learned. I like to go through the synthesizer, find a sound that's really nice to play with, and just play with it. That's what I like to do with my guitar. 8 was the one with Lady Dimitrescu, big titty giant goth mommy. But yes. Almost to the next little bit thing to talk about. While we're talking about Diablo wanting more time and money out of the player, Twitter continues doing what it's doing, and one of the latest updates is they actually did start rolling out the idea that as a Twitter user, your basic tweets might generate ad revenue for you. Now, this is also around the same time that they've decided to also limit the amount of tweets that can be seen by unverified accounts. So it's like, it's kind of like if on YouTube I got monetized, yay, but everyone who's like doesn't have their own channel and uploads their own stuff and isn't already making money off of YouTube is suddenly limited to only watching like 10 videos a day. Like, imagine like that kind of thing. It's like, shit. So Am I doing okay? It's up in the air. Like the summer of Mila Jovovich is doing much better. I'm actually making a little bit of money, but I'm going to be spending it all this week on fixing the car again, which has got me thinking about getting a new car. But maybe I can afford it if Twitter works out and paying me a lot for my tweets, with the slight exception of the fact that I don't actually have a large enough Twitter following to make money on my tweets. You see, you need at least 10,000 followers, and I only have like 5,000 followers. I should have been tweeting like a madman all these years, but instead I'm just scrolling on Twitter, looking at other tweets and being like, this guy's fucking stupid. Nah, nah, nah. But now, if you are a Twitter Blue subscriber and you have over 10,000 followers and some other arbitrary numbers going through, I'm not entirely abreast of all of them, but if you meet the criteria, theoretically, if people see ads under tweets you make, you are able to opt in to get a cut of those ads, which means you're paying money to make money. So I don't know exactly how much you'd expect to make on Twitter if you got 10,000 followers, but based on the amount of views my tweets get, I assume that it would not be nearly enough to make up the money to actually pay for Twitter Blue. But it would be nice to get Twitter Blue for free. I don't know. The Xbox just redid their rewards program and just screwed a lot of people. Xbox has restructured a few things lately that have not been great. Like Game Pass is now like $1 more for Game Pass for console and $2 more for Game Pass Ultimate. The Xbox rewards programs, most of the rewards now have cut the amount of rewards severely. Like the monthly bonus round now gives 500. Was it 500 instead of 1,000 or 1,000 instead of 2,000? Either way, it's cut in half. The Game Pass Ultimate auto renew like goal no longer exists. There's just a whole ton of things where it's like you get less points and you can spend them on less things, and the things cost more. And now on top of that, there's a change going where Xbox Live Gold is being discontinued and replaced by Game Pass Core. And there's a lot of people who have talked about that, saying like it's this great, big, amazing thing because no one cared about games with gold. And now Xbox Live Core is going to have like 25 bigger games from the Game Pass library in there, boom, along with the online, you need it for online multiplayer. And as a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, I'm looking at that like, so you mean to tell me my cost went up $2 a month recently, and this change means I will no longer be getting the games with gold monthly games, and they will be replaced with nothing. So I have lost value in this that I'm now paying more for. Now, if you are just an Xbox Live Gold subscriber, then you don't have the games with gold coming anymore, but you will get the small library of games, which is similar to like the PlayStation Plus collection that Sony had when the PlayStation 5 came out, but they discontinued that like a couple months ago. So, Twisted Metal movie. I thought it was a TV series. Oh yeah, that's another thing that's been popping around lately. Is Ubisoft is like there's inactivity, and they're like, well, we'll permanently shut down your Ubisoft account. You won't have access to it anymore. And oh, did you buy anything? Well, screw you. You still don't. It's just your account gone. Sorry. Oh, it is fantastic. Fantastic. I could go with just like 1 billion or 1,000th of that. That'd be fine. I'd just maybe like just 100th of that, like a hundredth of that, 100,000th of 1 billion. Yeah, it's not much. It's not much. It's just something to help me fix my car or get a new one. I don't know. Mr. Beast had a thing on Twitter where it's just like the most liked tweet here is going to get Like all my Twitter ad revenue for my tweets for the first month go. And I was like, okay, I may as well try, and posted that. And who's winning that? Well, I think one by now. It was a 48-hour thing, and it's been longer than 48 hours. But I'm pretty sure it was a guy who just posted a period like that. That was it. That was his reply to the tweet, and I'm pretty sure they won, which isn't as bad as you could think, because there were other people who were there like, hey, whoever helps me win this, I will send my sex tape to. You do something for me, I do something for you. Yeah. So they didn't win. So, you know. Oh. But still. I just... If the Twitter monies pick up, maybe. And not me, that someone else was supposed to under Mr. Beast's tweet about whoever gets the most likes on a reply will get my first month's Twitter ad revenue off this account. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Send that man some money. I mean, I got some great fans, but I don't think they like me that much. And let's be honest, they won't be able to handle this. Anyway. But yeah, like I said, I need to fix the car. And I've been looking at like, okay, what if I get a new car? What if I get a better car that can actually handle these fucking roads? Like, I can drive without worrying, am I going to scratch up my underside? And through all my little whirling around trying to figure out, okay, I want a car that has a lot of cargo space, because Charlie needs space for her wheelchair. I want a car that has a great gas mileage, because I care about the environment and I don't like paying for gas. And I want a car with 4 doors and full back seats. Like, I don't want to have anything cramped back there. This is terrible. I really like a manual transmission. I need a lot of clearance on the bottom, and I'd really like some big fucking plates protecting the underside of the car from any kind of shit that could destroy it. And it all came together to the Toyota Tacoma 2024 hybrid in the TRD off-road trim. Problem with my credit financing that for 10 years, it cost $50,000. And I don't have that. I don't have close to that. I don't have the monthly amount to actually afford that. So I really need to get this YouTube shit to work. But if the Twitter shit actually made money on the side, maybe that would help. I don't know. So fund my... Ooh, I never thought of that. But you see, I don't think that has the... what's the ground clearance on a hearse? But tell me, you piece of shit, what's the ground clearance on a hearse? Anyone know what the ground clearance on a hearse is? Let's see, the credit is just annoying. I have an okay credit score, but it's like, in order to grow your credit, you have to be a moron with your money. And what I mean is, like, in order to have bad credit, you need to start taking out loans and failing to make your payments. But in order to have good credit, you take out loans that you start paying back really fast with a lot more money, because you never needed the loan in the first place. So you have to have a lot of money in your pocket. But instead of just using the money in your pocket like a responsible adult, you still take out loans and still put things on layaway, and then you just pay it off like a madman. Like, you just act like an idiot who just needs middlemen in everything. Then you have good credit. Yeah, see, that's what I'm worried about. You see, that's still better than my car. That's not quite as good as the Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road, but it's kind of in between. My car's like 5 inches, and a Tacoma's like 9.5. See, that's not bad. That's some pretty dang good credits. My credit score is something like 698. I never grew my credit through most of my life. I recently have been doing some stuff to grow credits, but it's just like most of the time I was just like, I'll just purchase the things I need. I don't need to take out a loan for something. If I can't afford it, then I'm not going to buy it. Like that's been my thing, but that's a terrible way to grow credit. Uber. That doesn't work out here. We don't have Uber out here. We are in the sticks. No Uber. But. Oh God, it's time for that news. That news. Oh. So, you know about the acquisition that never ends that we've been talking about forever? Oh, the Mad Slasher dropped $10. I'm about to be kidnapped by my nephew to go for a ride in his new go-kart. What is your favorite Mario Kart? Mine is 64. You see, I myself didn't grow up with Mario Kart. Like, I had a Sega Genesis, and when I got an N64, I didn't get Mario Kart. When I got a Nintendo DS, I didn't get Mario Kart. My first Mario Kart really was Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch is an improvement on that. And it's the most vanilla, basic ass answer, but it really was like my first Mario Kart. I've gone back since to try to play other Mario Karts, but they have some idiosyncrasies to them that make it a little difficult to go back to. And it's like I try and play the Super Nintendo Mario Kart, and I'm looking at it like, I can understand how at the time these were some very impressive graphics. But at the same time, I'm having a hard time telling what the hell I'm even doing. So, yeah. Was what a joke or for real? I'm confused. But yeah. Oh, Days and I try to avoid like I checked all the stuff that Mila Jovovich was in, and anything that was like romance comedy, I'm like, I ain't touching. I'm not doing romantic comedies because I am not a guy to. I don't care for romantic comedies. So unless I'm tricked into like I'm watching a horror movie and it turns out to be a romantic comedy at some point, I'm like, but see, I do not believe in the PS5 Pro. I do believe in the PS5 Slim, but I have no belief in a PS5 Pro because I feel it's got the same validity as a Switch Pro, which I never believed in because of the same reason. There's no reason for it to exist. Now, yes, PS5 is not the most powerful hardware out there, but in order for a PS5 Pro to actually be more powerful to the point where you would actually notice, there's like the thing that people are spreading around online right now saying like 8K performance mode, stable 4K 60, all that stuff. Like, in order for it to have these kinds of pushes, like higher end ray tracing, all this stuff, in order for it to be to a level that you would actually notice going from a PS5 to a PS5 Pro, it would make it cost so much. It would be like at least $1,000 for a PS5 Pro. And that would, generally speaking, sell so poorly that Sony would have a hard time trying to excuse continuing to spend the money to support a PS5 Pro version of their games. And like with the PlayStation systems, especially, you have your boost modes and such that things have to be supported in a specific way. Versus with the Xbox is just, hey, you have a more powerful system here that, okay, it'll run that better. But yeah, it's possible, of course, to update and make something better. But in order for it to be noticeably better, it would have to be so much more expensive. It would price itself out of the market, and then software support would be just a money sink. And it's like the Switch. A lot of people were like, "Well, it's so much weaker than the other systems. They have to make a Pro at some point." It's like, no, they don't, because it was already selling gangbusters. And it was already, for a handheld system, very dang powerful. Now, the Switch 2, I do believe, is going to be coming out early this year. I don't know when a PlayStation 5 Slim is coming, but I do believe a PlayStation 5 Slim is coming. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. There's no way that. I mean, technically speaking, yes, consoles are sold at a loss, but Sony is not going to eat that big of a damn loss. Like, Microsoft could eat that big of a loss, but they still ain't gonna frickin' do it. I have a BioBidet BB2000. It is fantastic. You got the heated seat, got the warming, the warmed bidet water that the end of the massage and thing, all kinds of different like levels and speeds and distances. Fantastic. It's got the little air freshener like built in. You got the butthole dryer, so you don't even need to worry about wiping for any reason. It's fantastic. And it costs about as much as a PS5. But yeah. Anyway, on the topic of the acquisition that never ends, it was to come to a close on July 18th, and they blew out the FTC in court, and were clear to purchase. They could purchase over the UK and just be like, "Screw you guys, we're making the purchase. Get bent." And that didn't happen. Instead, now they're working with the UK, and the official deadline for the merger has now been kicked down the road to October. Now, fortunately, assume that it's going to actually go through early to mid-August. So it's not going to be forever. But man, I wish this was over already. Man, I wish it was over. End of the 70s and getting high. See, I don't remember that. I wasn't around for that. But yeah. That's most of it. That's like most all the news I really had. So all I can really... Oh, I can talk about other things. Had a poll on Twitter about this. About should I eat this on Live and Wired? Or should I eat this for its own special video? And the vote was 4-1. It should be its own special video. So we'll look forward to that. Well, that was also a thing that was said quite frequently. But I hear this is like 2 million Scoville. So it's hotter than anything I've ever eaten, yes. But what was the hottest sauce? Like I did like a little hot sauce thing, I think on Live and Wired like years ago. I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure I did a hot sauce thing on Live and Wired years ago. And one of the it either capped out at like 1 million Scoville, or only like 4 or 600,000. I can't remember which, and I wish I did because I remember the pain. I remember it was quite a lot. And so I am technically prepared. Now, why would I do this to myself? Well, like I said, I really want that new truck. I really want a new truck to replace my car, so I don't have to keep dropping money in this thing every other week when another piece of it falls off. I just a thing I'd like a new car that therefore will be semi-reliable. I'll actually be able to drive from point A to point B and not have any lights come on and be like, "Hey, time to spend another $1,000 on this thing." Like that's been my dream for so long is to be able to drive a car that doesn't cost everything I have. And I know it's been a while since this came out. This is the 2022 chip. So I'm missing any kind of train, but any hint of any video that might be able to go viral on the channel would be really helpful. The Summer of Mila Jovovich is doing fantastic, like I said, but still, I'm pulling in about like 500 new subscribers a month, which is ass compared to where the channel was in its heyday, but it's still a miracle compared to where the channel's been for the last few months. So I'm taking what blessings I can. But I need to be able to afford the fucking truck, so I gotta do what I gotta do, and I gotta like put out more videos, but I can't burn myself out. So I can't just pump out more reviews, but reviews are what people like seeing. So I can't stop on the reviews. So I gotta figure this out, guys. I gotta figure this out. Oh, I'm just having a bit of a moment here. I'm about to go through pain and hell, not today, but in a later video so that more people see it and I get more ad revenue. And it's just... I'm going to prepare. I got the guys at, like, what were those guys? What were their... Let me check. I had it over here. There we go. The guys here, Matt Zion of Reckless Eating. Yeah, one of the guys at Reckless Eating, Matt Zion, told me that it's no joke and to prepare for it, and later pointed out that aloe vera would be a very good idea. Yes, Lou, you can open that door if you try hard enough. We all know you can. We've seen you do it. We believe in you, Lou. Go on. Open that door. Oh, she's opened the door on several episodes, Derek Baird. It's okay, Lou. It's okay. You want to come up, Cease? You want to come up, Cease? Lou, no one can see you down there. They love doggies. Come on. Oh, Lou. Come on, Lou. Oh, he's a doggie. Here's my doggie. Here she is. But yeah, they suggested that I drink some aloe vera in preparation, which makes sense to me because of the fact that like I said, I have taken some extremely spicy foods before, and eating them is... Lou, I know you can do it. You've done it so many times before. You just go ahead, open the door. You see, the problem is I enjoy eating both salt and charcoal briquettes. So, you see, I always heard that, and I tried it so many times in my life to no avail. And then I eventually did find out. Hi, Dobby. I did find out that, like, I was eating something else that was like just a bit high in spice. It wasn't like crazy spicy, but it was like I was having some spicy ramen because I felt like getting a bowl of hot ramen just to have something with like a lot of spice to it. And it was a lot of spice, but it was not. It wasn't to the point like something like this would be. It was just a lot of spice. And so I had some milk there, and it actually did like cut the spice. And I was like, wow, that's never happened before. Honestly, I was just trying to get something to drink that was cold. But yeah, it's a key lime pie. Well, that makes sense to a degree. It's a semi dairy, coats the mouth. It's hard to get that. Someone's shooting their gun off outside. I can hear it. Uh yes, yes. Dobby, he's amazing. He's magical like that. So I believe it because I think Koreans go a little bit crazy with it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know how that feels. I know how that feels. But yeah. So but spicy food, like extremely spicy food, getting it through your mouth is one thing. From my experience, it's like there's the burn and then the numb. After a certain point, you don't feel anything. It's not like in the mouth. The pain is like around the edge of the lips and down into the throat, going into the sinuses. Like those. That's the worst spot there. Lou, are you honestly trying to get in now? I heard that. But uh the what was I talking about here? Oh yeah, so it's like just the mouth itself. I feel like that's no problem, but later on in the stomach, crunching like broken glass pain, and then of course the sphincter, the fire hose of fire. That's Hi Lou, how you doing, doggy butt? You silly dog. She's sitting down there now. She is. You okay, Lou? Oh, you hear the gunshots going off? It's okay. Don't you worry. She don't like gunshots. She hates fireworks. General stuff. If it gets bad enough, put her happy hoodie on, sit on the couch, and comfort her. But yeah, whew, that's closing in on the time I have left. The next review, of course, next review planned would be none other than a Resident Evil Extinction. Yes, bouncing the Resident Evil movie, something else Mila Jovovich did. Resident Evil movie, something else Mila Jovovich did. Resident Evil movie, something else Mila Jovovich did. So, is Resident Evil Extinction is the next Resident Evil movie, and sounds close. I would assume that it's just someone in there, like a household, not household, but like yard range. We're out in the sticks far enough that technically the population is low enough that it's legal to shoot your gun off in your own lawn. It's not considered populated enough for that to be a concern. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, but was Mila Jovovich in it? Doing backflips and showing up all of the original game characters and being like, "You guys suck. I'm so awesome, and my husband loves me." Uh, do hearts do anything? They pump blood, keep you alive. Very useful, generally, in my opinion, from my experience. Ah, but yeah. I'm thinking I need to start doing the 2 videos a week again, but I'm gonna try and not do like I did in the summer of Leprechaun, where the second like it was tough because like I was doing more in-depth videos for the second video, but those took longer, and then I just burnt out, and that screwed things up a lot. Uh, and then there was a But what is it? Brain. Sorry. Eh. I'm not doing as bad as I was with the diet before, but I'm still like 700 calories left that I need to have for it. 706 calories left for the day. So I need to eat dinner. I need to eat dinner, and yeah, there we go. One vid is a meal, the other is a snack. Yes, but when my snack turns into like a quadruple decker, like boyga, it's like this is a nice snack, nice snack. Next thing you know, cramps. Uh, so the life videos are they perform okay a bit, like especially if they're very infrequent. But the more it's just like I've turned on a camera to talk for 10 minutes, the less good it does. And the problem with YouTube is like not only do they want so many videos so frequently, they also really want each video to be a banger to really like your channel, which is understandable. It's just it's a frustrating thing for me considering like I do this mostly by myself. So it's I don't feel like it's a like any kind of problem that people who do have big teams, who do have like editors and scripters and like all this kind of stuff all working together, they have their own studio and stuff, that they're able to put out more stuff, that the algorithm treats them better. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is that I am struggling so hard as an individual to just get the channel to grow at all. Like to not have the slow death thing going on. That's my problem. It's not that it's not doing as good as the bigger channels. It's just that it's just not doing good no matter how hard I try. That's the problem, is that leads to burnouts, because then we'll start firing off on all cylinders nonstop and then But yeah. Well, that was just so much stuff all at once, and I was trying to have just an update for the channel at the time, and it was things kept happening, and I kept having to turn the camera on, and it was like, oh god. But I'm happy she's doing so much better now. No, it's okay, Lou. Oh, it's okay. Oh, she is scared right now with the gunfire. It's okay, Lou. Yeah. Say someone make a video about me and my channel. I remember someone made a video saying that I was an idiot. I remember that happened once. Which, to be fair, I was to an extent, but I feel like there were also a lot of other aspects that it was just a difference of opinion more so than me being actually wrong about something. But but there was a part where I was just straight up wrong, and they got me there. But there were also videos that were made of people just talking about me just in general, like in a good way. That happened too. Yeah. Oh, yay. Oh, I have not seen The Last Witch Hunter yet. Which one is that? God dang. I don't think that's on the docket either. Ah, dang. Dang it. Dang it. Here's my doggy. But yeah, it's about the time I have for today. Ooh, it's okay, Lou. It's okay. I need to get something to eat. I need to pay attention to my fiance, and I need to comfort my dog. She's not the gunfire stopped, so she should be calming down on her own pretty soon. But still, she also needs to eat, and she's not going to be able to do that if she's too worked up. It's okay. She's not shaking or nothing. She's just looking for comfort. But yeah, hopefully I'm getting some secondary videos out soon. I still got to make the sequel to the baking cookies, the Smokies. That's my special. That's my special recipe right there. Yeah, she bites. I can't do that too much. She gets very upset with me. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shadow, and remember, things will get better, but before they do, they're going to be getting much, much worse. So stay tuned.